All right, today we're going to talk about something that's probably driving you crazy, the data bottleneck. It's one of the biggest blockers to innovation, for sure. So we're going to architect a real solution on AWS to get good, trusted data into the hands of your team, and do it fast. Let's jump right in.
So let me ask you a question. Are your product managers, your finance analysts, your marketing teams, are they all just sitting around waiting for the data team to pull a report? Yeah? If that sounds even a little familiar, you know the frustration, and you definitely know the hidden cost of all that waiting.
And look, this isn't just about people being annoyed, it's way bigger than that. It's a critical business failure. Because when people can't get their hands on the data they need to make decisions, or to test out a new idea, or even just understand their customers, the entire engine of innovation just grinds to a halt, dead in its tracks. So let's put a name to this thing. We're calling it the analytics bottleneck. And it's super common, right? It's what happens when you have one central data team, and they're probably amazing, but they're completely overwhelmed, trying to serve an entire organization that is just starving for data. Now, what's really interesting is what happens when people get tired of waiting. You know what they do? They create workarounds. This is shadow IT, and it brings along its really dangerous cousin, shadow ETL. We're talking about these hidden, unmanaged data pipelines, the whole extract, transform, load process. But they're totally undocumented, ungoverned, and they create a ton of risk and just chaos. So how do we fix this mess? I mean, we can't just hire more data engineers and hope they can fulfill tickets faster. That's just a Band-Aid. The real solution requires a totally different way of thinking. It's a fundamental shift in approach, and that leads us to the self-service promise. And let's be really clear. Self-service analytics is not about buying some new fancy tool. It's a strategy. It's about empowering your users, the analysts, the domain experts, to safely and securely explore data on their own terms, but inside a framework that you provide. The goal here isn't just to process tickets, it's to accelerate insights. And this comparison just lays it out so perfectly, doesn't it? We're moving away from that old world of centralized requests and slow insights. The world that creates all that shadow IT. Instead, we're building a system that's all about empowerment, governed access to high-quality, curated datasets. And that is what ultimately leads to accelerated innovation. Okay, so that's the what and the why. Now for the fun part, the how. How do we actually architect a system on AWS that delivers on this promise of empowerment? At a high level, the architecture follows three pretty simple logical steps. First, you curate. The central data team takes all that raw, messy data and transforms it into clean, reliable, business-ready data sets. Second, you catalog. You register these data sets so people can actually find them. And third, you expose the data through standard BI tools or business intelligence tools and query engines that they already use. I absolutely love this analogy. Your job as a data architect is not to just dump a truckload of raw ingredients at your analyst's feet. No way. Your job is to provide them with one of those meal kits, right? Where all the ingredients are cleaned, they're prepped, they're portioned. The data is curated and ready for analysis the moment they get it. Okay, now this part is so important because this is where most self-service initiatives fail. People either open the floodgates with zero control, which is just chaos, or they lock things down so tightly that nobody can do anything. The key is finding that balance, access that is governed but not gated. This quote just nails the essence of it. You're giving your users freedom, but it's freedom inside a well-defined, secure, and governed framework. You define the guardrails, and then you let them drive. Let's make this totally concrete. Imagine you have a single, beautifully curated sales data set. Both your product team and your finance team need to query it. But they need to see slightly different things, and they absolutely should not see certain sensitive columns. So check this out. Both teams are querying the exact same underlying data. But using a service like AWS Lake Formation, we can apply role-based permissions. So the product team, they see sales by SKU, but the cost of goods is hidden from them. The finance team, they can see the cost for their analysis, but the SKU details are hidden. And for both teams, customer PII, that's personally identifiable information, is completely masked. This is the key. It's one source of truth with multiple secure views. Okay, finally, let's talk about adoption, because how do we build this amazing system in a way that ensures our users actually use it and we can design out shadow ETL for good? Look, building the platform is only half the battle. You have to make it easier to use than the alternative. That means providing things like standard query patterns to get them started, investing heavily in documentation and training, and critically, you have to meet them where they are by exposing the data directly in the BI tools they already use, like Amazon QuickSight or others. And please, never underestimate the power of a good data catalog, like the AWS Glue data catalog. If your curated datasets are the meal kits, then the catalog is the recipe book and the menu. It's what tells your analysts what data is available, where it came from, who owns it, and how fresh it is. It is the absolute foundation of discovery and trust. So as we wrap up, I'm going to leave you with this one question. Is your current data architecture creating clarity, or is it creating chaos? Is it empowering your users, or is it forcing them into the shadows? The choice and the architecture is yours.